Welcome to the Embrace Strength podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Crocker. I am an experienced trainer and active life professional. I work with people who are struggling with nagging pain to get back to the activities they love without fear of re-injury. This podcast is here to educate and provide value to you on all things health, fitness, staying active, and personal development. Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to the pod. The weekly recap is coming a day early this week because it is a holiday weekend and we are going out of town. So I will not be working tomorrow. So I am recording this on Thursday instead of my usual Friday. But this week has been a mental roller coaster, if I am being completely honest. And if anybody listening to this also runs their own business, you can probably relate to like entrepreneurship just being a mental roller coaster all the time. Like you can feel really good about what you're doing one day and then the next day be spiraling about about just the uncertainty of it all. And I think that is the biggest mental block that can stop a lot of entrepreneurs. It's why people quit. It's, part of a lot because it is a big mental load and mental burden when it is all on you, when you do run your own business, and literally your success is based on you and the work you're putting in and the things that you're doing every day. And it can just feel heavy and it could just feel like a lot some days. Like some days you can feel like, wow, this is the best ever. Like I don't have to answer to anybody and feel super light about it. But then another day that same statement could feel like the heaviest statement ever. And I think one of the biggest things I've learned over the past couple of years specifically is that it's important to feel what you're feeling, but not let it keep you stuck and frozen. Because there have definitely been times in the earlier stages of my business where thoughts like that would just kind of make me stuck and paralyze me. And you can't let it do that because then it actually will stagnate your growth. And it's really about, okay, who can keep showing up through the uncertainty of it all and stick with it long enough to be able to see what's actually on the other side for yourself. Like who can show up the longest for yourself even when there's no certainty around it and just still keep going and remain in a good headspace. Like literally that is what running your own business is like. And even the coaches that I mentor 4 coaches right now one-on-one, and this is something that we talk about often, is that like the mental roller coaster of it all and how it's normal and how you just still have to keep going, and there are always ebbs and flows to business. It's part of business and part of life as well, but it's like you could be signing clients left and right over a 3-month period, but then also it could slow down a lot the next couple of months, right? So it's definitely a lot, and just growing is learning to deal with the mental roller coaster, but not let it stop you from putting in the reps of doing things you need to do in order to grow your business. And so, I don't know, that's just like been on my mind a lot this week, and I am working on quite a bit of like behind the scenes work, and sometimes that can be one of the hardest parts of creating things in a business, because it's like you're doing all this work for something that you don't know what's going to be the outcome when you put it into the world. And it's just like a really weird, it's just very strange. Like I'm working on batching quite a few YouTube videos before I start regularly putting out YouTube content. And so like that's at the forefront of my mind right there with one of the behind the scenes things. It's like not into the world yet, but it's a lot of work up front and you don't know how it's going to work. And specifically with that, I know that's more of a long-term game, just kind of like the podcast, right? It's just about continuing to put out the content, and over time it will hopefully bring in more leads to your business. But anyways, so like that's a big thing. And then I'm trying to get more one-on-one clients. So I'm working on making a new like freebie for one-on-one clients. And that's the other thing. It's like, okay, when you create something like a new freebie, you also don't know, okay, who's going to download this? Is this actually going to work? Blah, blah, blah. And so it's just, I don't know, it's just very weird. I'm also trying to finish up working on my website. That's another really large project. And over the past, well, I guess like since doing my rebrand last summer, I've really only had landing pages type of thing. So like a landing page is like where you basically have one web page for one specific offer. Okay, so I've just kind of been creating the one-off landing pages since my rebrand, and I haven't done like a more of like a regular website. So I'm trying to put something together for that. And so there's that. And let me think what else. Those are kind of like the main things, like extra projects, I guess, but are also like of high priority for me right now. So anyways, yeah, I don't know. But let's see. That's basically a look into my brain over the past week. And then like life-wise, had a decent week. Got in my 2 lifts at the gym, got in a bike ride and some mobility at home. Today I'm going to do a run and some mobility. So there's that. Oh, and like the running has been going okay so far. Like literally I am barely progressing it. So like last week I progressed. Foot felt okay. I could tell it was like slightly sore, but not too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the same volume the same as I did last week. And then next week I will progress slightly. So basically my strategy, I think I'm learning about myself, is with the running for right now, I'm leaving the volume the same for 2 weeks in a row and then just adding on an extra interval when I do a progression. So I'm going to stick with that for a few more weeks and see how I feel. And then I'm also thinking about maybe adding in another mini run, I guess just another run, but I say mini because it's like very short distance on another day of the week, but I want to wait till like mid-July or so. But anyways, so let's see, that was like mentally business stuff. Yeah, this weekend we're going out of town. Excited about that. Visiting some family and friends in Georgia, which will be great. I have not, it's like been rare that I get to go home multiple times in a year, but now that we live a lot closer, it's much easier to do that. So that'll be nice to be like, oh, we don't have a 15-hour drive ahead of us or 18-hour drive ahead of us. It's much shorter. So that will be nice. But anyways, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this recap. If you listen to these, I appreciate you for being here. If you've listened to these and you haven't subscribed to my podcast, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then if you also listen to these but you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram at Coach Ashley127. I will put the link to my Instagram in the show notes. And then lastly, if you're a regular listener to the podcast, you should also be on my email list. My email list gets a lot of like exclusive offers. They know about things before releasing to the public. So if you are somebody who's engaged in my podcast, get on my email list as well. Link will be in the show notes. But I hope you have a good holiday weekend, and I will talk to you guys next week.